Hey everyone, it's Hardy here, and in today's video we're reviewing a GLS 580. First and foremost, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this GLS. Check out the inventory in the description down below. A really cool thing about the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington is they are a one-price store, so they're going to make your buying experience from start to finish super easy and seamless. So definitely check them out. And then on a side note, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below as well. Let's get right into the video. So under the hood we have a twin turbo 4-liter V8 that goes through a 9-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 21 on the highway, with power outputs being 483 horsepower and then 516 pound-feet of torque, and this also has the EQ boost. Now let's go to the front end of the GLS. So something that's kind of interesting is this doesn't have a hood ornament like the S-Class sedan, which again is just kind of unique. But popping here to the side, you can see the daytime running lights with the headlights super bright overall for the headlights. And then notice here with the chrome trim on the front end, got the giant Mercedes logo, and then you can see the camera at the bottom of the logo. Parking sensors integrated here into the front end. We've got a bunch of blacked out trim here at the bottom, and yeah, overall it's basically a Mercedes SUV, but bigger and S-classier. Now coming here to the side, we've got 275mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the front, and then 315mm tires wrapped around 21-inch wheels in the rear. Now you guys can see here from a wheel design perspective, you've got the silver there on the outside, and then notice how it's kind of like black in the center, and it's a star. Not the same star as what you have with the Mercedes-Benz logo, but it's still a star. Now you guys can see we've got the adjustable shocks here with the GLS. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more later. But notice here with the body painted fender flare, and you got a little bit of venting there on the front. We got the side steps here, and they have the nice little grip pieces, so if it's raining or snowy, you're not going to slip on them. We've got the blacked out mirrors. We've got chrome here on the top of the door handles, and then notice the trim around the windows is all blacked out. Got rails there at the top, and you can see the fender flare there on the back, which is pretty large. Again, 315mm is pretty wide for a tire, so you got to have a big fender flare, but there's your full side view. Now here's our key fob, so you guys can see normal Mercedes key fob. We have our lock function, our unlock, and the opening here for the hatch, which press that and look, it'll pop right open. And I bet we're gonna see, oh, we don't have vacuum lines today in this particular video, but we do have AMG floor mats. That itself is still pretty cool. Notice we also have a third row. We'll kind of get into that a little bit more and a little, well, popping back there in a little bit. But anyways, notice you've got nice leather trim here for the third row passengers, which is very uncommon. But again, this is the S-Class of SUVs, so you got to have that. Notice we can raise and lower everything, so you can press this and, well, all of it's going to come up at once. And then here on the other side, notice for these seats, and then also you can lower the rear ends with the suspension, so it's easier to load things up into the rear as well. Look how beautiful the trim is here, and then down below as well. And when you're all done, you just gotta press this button up here. It does have the fun foot wavy stuff too, but buttons are easier for me. Now finishing things up with the rest of the rear, you guys can see here with the spoiler, and the back definitely gives it a sporty appearance. We got our GLS 580 badge, 4Matic there on the other side, and then we have parking sensors here at the bottom, and then you can see with the receiver hitch, and then the coverings over the exhaust tips as well. And you know, overall I think the design on this is actually very beautiful. Large, but beautiful. Now here's a door panel in the rear. You guys can see all of the leather trim all over. I definitely love the white finish. And then notice the contrasted stitching. Got your window control, seat adjustments, heated seats as well. We have our sunshade for the back passengers, Burmester sound system, again with the side steps and then Mercedes-Benz logo. And then here are the seats themselves. So notice, you know, pretty simplistic from a design perspective, but got nice leather trim all over. No grab handle or anything, but we do have a vent right there. But you can pretty much just slide right across, and you could obviously lower the air suspension down to make it easier. But anyways, there's legroom. Something just went into my eye, but anyways, there's the little cargo net right there. You've got some vents here, climate controls down below, and you got some charging ports as well. Then we have our cup holder, armrest, center console situation. Now, we've got to talk about this third row. This does in fact have a third row, but as you can see, a little bit cramped from a legroom perspective, so I'd reserve the third row for kids. You can fit adults back there from a headroom perspective, but again, it's more on the cramped side of things. This isn't a massive SUV, so yeah, like I said, I'd reserve it for kids, but you can use it for adults on a pinch, whatever. Let's pop to the front. Now here's the front door panel. You guys can see again with the trim at the top, and then down below we've got heated cooled seats. You can adjust the passenger side from the driver's side, and the passenger side gets heated cooled seats and a bunch of adjustments and memory seats just like the driver's side. Blind spot mounting for the mirror. You've got all of the window controls right here. You can open up the hatch with that button. Again, Mercedes-Benz right there. Then here's the front seat. So notice again with the nice leather trim perforated here down the center portion of the seats. And then here is the pedal layout, which is really nice. And then you guys can see here for the light control, notice the wood trim that goes across, and then you can see here on the dash with the leather trim. Steering wheel is power adjustable. Let's pop in. So here is the steering wheel in the GLS. You can see really nice leather trim all around. We got some controls for the infotainment system, volume, voice command controls. We got controls for the cruise control, and then also for the center stack here. Of course, we got our turn signal windshield wiper stock. And then you can see we've got the column shifter here on the other side, and there's the steering wheel. Now here is the center screen. So it's pretty cool because again, full digital gauge cluster, super customizable. So notice that you can change what information shows there in the center, and then also on either side here, you can also change the information that shows with the GLS. So super customizable, really, I don't know, really like it. I think it's a pretty cool system. And then you can also change how the gauge cluster itself even looks. So you guys can see going over to design and display, I can, we'll do understated this time. Can change that look, and yeah, overall cool system. Now here's the infotainment system. First off, if we pop it in reverse, you can see we've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that turn the steering wheel. We got the bird's eye view as well, and then you can see all the different camera viewpoints here with the GLS. So like you can see out of every single angle, which is really a cool thing. Now as for the rest of the infotainment system, there's a bunch of different ways to control it. So there's a little like keypad at the bottom, which lets me scroll through some different menus. There's also the little button on the steering wheel, which lets me also scroll through different menus, and it's also a touchscreen on top of that. So since there's so many different ways to control it, you just got to pick what you want. And then since this is an S-Class SUV, of course you can get a massage while you're driving, which is another cool thing, and also can control the ambient lighting as well, which is kind of hard to see right now, but you know what, we will actually, yeah, we'll do multicolor. We'll do purple sky. Then if we actually go back to brightness, we'll turn it up quite a bit, so it'll pop on a little bit more. We've got a bunch of vents down below, and then you can see the wood trim that goes across, and then notice the leather there on the dash. And then you can see here with the dual zone climate controls, and then notice here with the wood trim. Got the wireless phone charger, a couple cup holders, and then also with the ambient lighting. And then also here around the grab handle, which is kind of interesting. Controls right here for the infotainment system, again, the analog controls, and then you got your drive mode select. If you guys are wondering from a drive mode perspective, well, at the top we got individual, we got sport, comfort, and then curve as well. You got eco, and then off-road, and then off-road plus, which will raise things up quite a bit. But, well, there's that. And while that is adjusting the suspension because it changes the drive mode, you can see we also have a low range. So this is 2-speed transfer case, got the manual mode. That's for the suspension to raise or lower its stability control. And then it does have hill descent control on top of that. And then here is the center console setup. And, well, glove box. There you go. Now, finishing things up top, we do have a panoramic sunroof. You can see we've got this lighter colored headliner as well. And, well, there you go. So here is our window sticker for this GLS 580. You guys can see the standard equipment, so feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read that. And then popping over here, we can see the suggested retail price before options are added. Now this one has quite a few cool options added to it, including the wheels. And after all options, total MSRP $121,095. Let's see if this drives as nice as the S-Class sedan. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both mirrors do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. Off in the literal S-Class of SUVs. It's so funny, there's so many YouTube videos that'll like describe a luxurious vehicle as the S-Class of whatever. But this is literally the S-Class of SUVs, so we can call it that officially. And if you guys don't know, I lived with an S-Class sedan for a week. So I can confidently comment on whether or not this is as comfortable, as luxurious as an S-Class sedan, right? And I'm sure a lot of people would be curious because, you know, SUVs are a lot more popular than cars nowadays. So it's kind of an important thing. First off, in terms of just like sheer noise insulation, it is amazing. Now, I do feel like I get a little bit more engine rumble out of this than the S-Class sedan. So I'm not sure if they like purposely did that because, you know, SUV owners like want more noise than sedan owners. I don't know. But the engine just sounds a little bit more rumbly in this than it does in the S-Class sedan. Also, got the auto stop start, which is always a nice function to have. And let's make sure we're on the right drive mode. I'm interested with this curve mode. Puts the suspension in curve. Because we're gonna go through some corners here, so I'm interested to see how this kind of performs. Really seamless with the auto stop start, I can say that. Oh my goodness, this is so comfortable. Wow. Yeah, so okay, so going around this next corner, let's go from curve to comfort. See if I can actually perceive a difference. Little bit, actually. Maybe I'm crazy. I'm sure someone in the comment section down below is gonna like call me out, but I think I can actually feel a difference. It just seems like it kind of like, it feels more comfortable just going through the slight little like sweeper with that. I don't know, interesting. Very comfortable though. I love the driving experience with this. Now, something to mention. It does seem like there's a little bit more like maybe tire noise with this compared to the S-Class sedan. Like the S-Class sedan is completely serene, like super quiet, like nothing gets through. This seems like maybe a little bit with the tires, but the suspension is, and someone's getting pulled over. Wow. Or maybe not. I don't know what's happening there. But the suspension is amazingly comfortable. That is weird. Wow, I can't believe we captured that on camera. So yeah, they did a really good job with the suspension on it. It's just so floaty and nice. Yeah, going over this little like grate here. Look at that. Yeah, I will say though, I can confidently say though, I don't think this is as comfortable as the sedan. We'll pop it into the sport mode regardless. Still has the auto stop start in the sport mode. And I'm just gonna leave it automatic because I'll just let this do its thing. It's quick. It gets up and moves. That is for sure. Look at that G-Wagon. That is cool looking. Yeah, it's quick. It is definitely quick. We're gonna pop back into the curve mode because, you know, it's an S-Class SUV, so we gotta just do our normal comfortable S-Class driving. But yeah, it gets up and moves. It doesn't feel as quick as a sedan, which makes sense. It has slightly less power, and it's I mean, the sedan weighs quite a bit, but I'm sure this weighs more, and it's higher up off the ground, so yeah, doesn't feel as quick as the sedan, but it's still very quick for what it is. So let's sum things up here with the GLS. So first off, exterior. Does it, you know, remind you of an S-Class? Well, it doesn't have the hood ornament, but it's a very luxurious looking vehicle. Doesn't have the same presence as the sedan, but it still has a ton of road presence. Like this, compared to other Mercedes SUVs, the only thing that I think might have more road presence is just the G-Wagon because it has that military vehicle appearance. But this still is, it's so big and out there, and it definitely has quite a bit of presence. Interior, it's S-Class interior, very nice. And then from a driving perspective, it does drive like an S-Class for the most part. Now, it seems like they, you know, carried over most of the stuff from the sedan to this from a driving perspective, but I think that, you know, to truly get an S-Class experience, it has to be in the sedan. It's like 95% of the way there, but that extra 5% that you get with just the little bit, it's a little bit quieter in the sedan. It's a little bit more comfortable over certain things with the suspension in the sedan. That's kind of what you get from the sedan. But I mean, if you have, you know, a family, right, a large family, or you need to take more people around, you know, maybe you live in a place that, like Utah, where the roads are horrible in some places, and having more ground clearance is king, definitely. Then yeah, this, like I said, this gives you 95% of the experience you get in the sedan in SUV format. And, you know, it sounds like it might sound like I'm being critical on this, but, you know, this is still an amazing luxury vehicle, and this just blows 99% of cars out of the water. Like pretty much any other car you're gonna drive in, it's not gonna feel as comfortable as this. So like, again, I am being very critical, but I'm done. I can't talk anymore. That's all. Now let's get some things up for our video on this GLS. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Mercedes-Benz of Farmington for giving me some time with this GLS. Check out their inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in that next video.